Hello guys, welcome to the first topic on the thermal physics series, which is your temperature and heat. And this will be our lesson one. A lot of lesson under this. What is temperature? What is it? Let's discuss, calm down, and let's explain. Now, I'll start by telling you what's the concept of heat. I'll start by telling you that heat makes us feel a sensation of hotness. What does heat do? Heat makes us feel a sensation of hotness. You are hot. Every environment is hot. That ability to feel that, oh, this place is hot. The temperature here is high. You're talking about your heat. Now, also make you to understand that it is a form of energy produced from different sources. We start by saying that heat gives us a sensation of hotness. I would say it's a form of energy from different sources. Now, if you say you understand this, still know the concept of heat. This is heat being generated. You can see, we're going to explain what is radiation, what is conduction, what is convection. But you can see that heat is being generated. We said it's a form of energy. You can see it here. Heat is generated as a form of energy. What is this heat all about? Are you seeing that? Now, if you say you understand that, let's gradually move. I'll start by saying that how is heat produced? We said it's a sensation that makes us feel hotness. How is it produced? Now, take note that heat is being produced by different processes. What's the first process? From the sun, call your solar heat. Heat is released from the sun. Anytime the temperature is high, the sun is high, just come out, you're going to feel heat. So heat, number one, is produced from the sun. Number two, take note that heat is produced by friction. Friction occurs when you rub surfaces together. Example, talk about when we rub our palms together rigorously for a few minutes. Another example of that is heat is produced between the tires of vehicle and the ground when the brake is applied by friction. Match a brake, the tires of the car scrub through the ground. It is what is produced. We are still talking about friction here now. Take note that heat can also be produced during chemical reactions when tetrazoles of a cis acid is introduced into a test tube of water. These are various ways in which heat is produced. We said it is produced from the sun, which is called your solar heat or solar energy. We talk about heat is produced from friction. We give example of friction when you rub your palms together, the tire surface and the ground. Talk about heat is also produced from chemical reactions. There are many ways in which heat is produced. This is just to mention a few. Do you understand that? Now, if you say you understand that, what is now the use of heat? I'll start by telling you that heat serves man in various ways. Number one, for cooking food, for drying our clothes, for warming our homes. We use heat. And you see that. Quickly, another use of heat is that in industries, heat is used for separating metal from their ores. We're going to talk about this also in chemistry. Are you seeing that? When you want to separate metal from their ores, we use heat. You subject it. You might have seen when a metal is subjected to high heat, like cooling temperatures, whether that metal will melt. So that's a way of extracting metals from their ores. So in industries, heat is used for extracting metals from their ores. Number two, take note that heat from burning fuels, such as in engines, provide vehicles and planes the ability to move. We talk that in Newton's law of motion, that as the rocket is going up, the heat is coming down, they are moving in opposite direction. It is that heat that enables rockets, some vehicles, as well as trains to move. You see them, they are steaming, Heat from burning fuels in engines, vehicles, and planes produce the ability for them to move. And again, heat from burning of coal provide trains the ability to move. So this is just to mention a few uses of heat. We'll talk about what is heat. It gives us a sensation of hotness. We'll talk about how it is produced. We'll talk about what's the usefulness. Now, since we have gotten concepts about what this heat is all about, the question is, what then is heat?
Hold on a bit very quickly. This class you're watching right now is just one out of a series of classes within the LearnLift app. And guess what? LearnLift is a mobile app, right, where you study intensively as well as extensively. So within the LearnLift app, you can see it very quickly. You have access to all your subjects there. You have your use of English, you have your mathematics, you have your physics, you have your chemistry, you have your biology, you have your Jamb 400. All of them, they are different subjects within the LearnLift app. And of course, you have different topics under every particular subject, and everything has been narrowed down to you, down to the curriculum, with their past questions and everything to the core. And don't forget that within the LearnLift app, you have access to your video lessons where you can start going through your classes uninterrupted. You have access to your notes. Oh yes, your notes well organized, well structured for you, and you are running through all of them. And of course, inside the notes are past questions for you. You have access to your past questions in CBT format, where you can go through all of them extensively well. All of it within the LearnLift app for you and more. And guess what? Very important. You want to download the LearnLift app, all you need to just do is head down to Play Store or your App Store and type LearnLift. That's all. Once you type LearnLift, of course, the app is going to pop up for you, and you're going to see the logo, and then you download the app, and then you follow up on your studies intensively. Before we proceed, let's get back to class. Flow with me.
Now take note that since heat can do all the work we have listed, we therefore define it as a form of energy called thermal energy. So it's a form of energy called thermal energy. So we are trying to understand what is it. So we have to give it an aspect of physics. That aspect of physics call your thermal physics, or and to talk about what we study there is energy, and what we call thermal energy. Now the question is, what's the definition of heat? I'll start by telling you that heat is a form of energy which flows due to temperature difference. Please understand the statement. Now, it's a form of energy which flows due to temperature difference. So if the temperature rises, there will be a lot of heat. If the temperature drops, there will be loss of heat. So heat is a form of energy which flows due to the difference in temperature. That means we say that it flows from a higher body from a higher temperature to a lower temperature. The sun has a higher temperature. The earth, we have a lower temperature. So the energy, which is heat, flows from the higher temperature to a lower temperature. Everybody, what's the first definition of heat? Heat is a form of energy which flows due to difference in temperature. That is from a higher temperature to a lower temperature. Now this definition of heat, but this one is for babies. Which one will they ask in the exam? Which one will you see in past question? This is number 2. Take note that heat is a measure of the total energy of a system. Please, we have started now. Everybody, what is it? It is the measure of the total energy of a system. That common past question you will see. Now, when we say the total energy of a system, we are trying to take the energy of that system. Remember that molecules. Now, solid have molecules. And these molecules are heating themselves in gases. In solid, they are tight held. Now, these molecules start to absorb. As they are moving, energy is being generated, which is in the form of heat. So when we measured the total energy in that body, we are trying to talk about the heat of that body. Do you understand? Number 1, everybody, what is heat? It is a form of energy which flows due to to temperature difference. Or we say heat is the total. Look at the word total. The total energy of a body is heat. The total energy of a system is everybody was heat. Second definition, heat is the measure of the total energy of a body. Do you understand? Now, if you say you understand the concept of heat, what is the unit for heat? Heat is measured in what? In joules. The unit for heat is in what? In joules. Of course, a form of energy. Energy is measured in joules. And take note that heat cannot be measured directly. Unlike temperature, we can measure temperature. Remember, we are talking about temperature and heat. Heat cannot be measured directly, but temperature we can measure it. Heat cannot be measured directly. Changes in heat is usually detected by what? By changes in temperature. So we cannot measure heat directly. Changes in heat is being detected by changes in in temperature. We'll talk about what is heat. We'll talk about how it is generated, the uses, and we get definition of heat. That the main definition, first of all, said it is a form of energy which flows due to difference in temperature. Went further to explain that it is also the measure of the total energy of a body. We said the unit is joules, and it cannot be measured that you cannot measure it directly. How we measure it is by changing in temperature. The question now is what is now the concept of temperature? Now take note, I'll give you a simple scenario to explain temperature. Now let's say we have a beaker of water, and this beaker of water is placed onto a fire that's a bouncing burner. For a while, the water gets hotter. You place water inside a container, that's a beaker, and you place inside a bouncing burner. What happens? This water is going to get hotter to generate heat. Now, the heat from the burner has increased the temperature of the water. You said this is the beaker, and let's say this is fire. This is fire. So, this water now in this beaker generates heat. Now, you said the heat from the burner, this is the burner, has increased the temperature of this water. This is the burner. So, the heat from the burner has increased the temperature of this water. Now, the other way around. On the other hand, when we keep a cup of water in the refrigerator, the temperature decreases. Why? Because the heat from the water heat is being drawn from the water to the refrigerator. Hence, the water becomes what? Cool. So, the temperature in the first instance, when this Bunsen burner is applied to this heat is applied to this water. Now, what can we see? Take note that from the first instance, when the Bunsen burner was applied to the beaker, the water absorbed it and the temperature increased. In the second instance, when the water was removed and put in the fridge, what happened? It loses heat. What happened to the temperature? The temperature decreases. The question is, now what is now temperature? Are you seeing that?
Hold on a bit very quickly. This class you're watching right now is just one out of a series of classes within the LearnLift app. And guess what? LearnLift is a mobile app, right, where you study intensively as well as extensively. So within the LearnLift app, you can see it very quickly. You have access to all your subject there. You have your use of English, you have your mathematics, you have your physics, you have your chemistry, you have your biology, you have your Jamb 400. All of them, they are different subjects within the LearnLift app. And of course, you have different topics under every particular subject, and everything has been narrowed down to you, down to the curriculum, with their past questions and everything to the core. And don't forget that within the LearnLift app, you have access to your video lessons, where you can start going through your classes uninterrupted. You have access to your notes. Oh yes, your notes, well organized, well structured for you, and you are running through all of them. And of course, inside the notes are past questions for you. You have access to your past questions in CBT format, where you can go through all of them extensively well. All of it within the LearnLift app for you and more. And guess what? Very important. You want to download the LearnLift app, all you need to just do is head down to Play Store or your App Store and type LearnLift. That's all. Once you type LearnLift, of course, the app is going to pop up for you, and you're going to see the logo, and then you download the app, and then you follow up on your studies intensively. Before we proceed, let's get back to class. Flow with me.
Take note that temperature is the degree of hotness or coldness of a body. Why is it hot? Because there's increase in heat, increase in temperature. Why is it cold? It has loose heat, decrease in water temperature. That degree of hotness and coldness, degree of hotness and coldness of a body is called temperature. Take note about this is not what you see in the exam. Are you seeing that? Now, you are going to see this, but major passages will not ask you temperature is degree of, because they know that people will do it. Now, what's another definition for temperature? You know that temperature indicates the average kinetic energy of a substance. Man, hold on. Average kinetic energy. Now, let's say, for example, let me give you a mental picture. Let's say, for example, you have an A in a course. You got an A. Now, one student may get 90, another student may get 75. Both of them have an A. But we're not checking about the score. We're just checking about if you score above 70, you are an A plus student, right? So when we talk about the kinetic energy in the substance, we just need the average. You don't even need the exact. Even as far as there's an average kinetic energy of the substance, we know the temperature of that substance. Everybody, what is temperature? It is the average kinetic energy of a substance. While heat is the total energy of a substance. Temperature, average kinetic energy of a substance. It's total energy of a substance. Do you understand that? Because these are the things they examine now. These are the past questions. Are you seeing that? And also note something, that different materials require different amount of heat because of the given what temperature. Different materials require different amount of heat because of what given temperature. Because of that given temperature, different materials acquire different amount of heat. Of course, a thicker material, we need more amount of heat to increase temperature, while a lighter material will need less amount of heat. Are you seeing that? So take note, different material require different amount of heat or by giving what temperature. And temperature is measured with thermometer. Unlike heat, we say we cannot measure heat directly. We measure heat by change in temperature, by taking the difference or the change in temperature. But temperature, we can measure temperature directly. Temperature, we can measure the thermometer. Do you understand? Everybody, what's temperature? We said the degree of hotness or coldness of a body. We said temperature can be defined as a measure of the average kinetic energy of a substance. I would say different material require different amount of heat due to change in temperature. I would say temperature is measured by thermometer. This is just the introduction of this class. Now, what's the difference between heat and temperature. Let's go through them. 6 temperature. Number 1, heat is a form of energy. Temperature is just the degree of coolness or hotness of a world of a body. Are you seeing that? We said heat is what? Is the total energy of a substance. Total energy of a substance. What about temperature? Say temperature is the what? Average kinetic energy. Average kinetic energy of a substance. Are you seeing that? Number 2, taking that heat flows from a what? From a higher temperature to a lower temperature. Heat flows, but temperature does not flow. Heat flows, temperature does not flow. Are you catching knowledge? And number 4, take note that heat cannot be measured. We say it cannot be measured, right? That it can be calculated from temperature. Heat cannot be measured, but temperature can be measured with what? With thermometer. We measure temperature with thermometer. We're going to talk about that. And also take note that the unit for heat is joules, while the unit for temperature can be in degrees Celsius, can be in Kelvin, can also be in Fahrenheit. Unit for temperature can be in Kelvin, can be in degree centigrade or Celsius. It can be in what? In Fahrenheit. We're going to talk about all this. Do you understand? And number 6, heat can do some work, while temperature can do no work. Heat can do some work. Temperature can do. These are the 6 differences between them. The main thing to know is that heat is the total energy of the body, while temperature is the average kinetic energy of the body. Know the other difference, their units, how they are measured, and so on and so forth. You can pause the class, take it over and over. Now, quickly, if you say you understand this, let's try ourselves. Let's take 1 or 2 past question. Past question time. A question is Jamb 1980 question 7. What does the question say? In the study of physics, temperature and heat are often confused with each other. Which of the following statement correctly defines the 2 statements? Option A, temperature is the measure of the average kinetic energy of the molecules of a substance. Let's see option B. Option B says heat is the total kinetic energy of a substance. Of course. Option C said different materials require different amount of heat to cause a given change in temperature. Option D say all of the above. Option E say A and B. Quickly pause it and choose the answer. What becomes the answer? We already said that temperature is the average kinetic energy of molecules of a substance, and we said heat is the total kinetic energy. We now want to say that different substance require different amount of heat to cause a given change in what? In temperature. Option D say all of the above. Option E say A and B. Of course, what becomes the answer? The answer becomes option D, meaning all of the word of the above. Do you understand? Everybody was temperature. It is the average kinetic energy of a substance. And what is your word? Heat. It is the total energy. That energy can be kinetic, can be potential. Those are the total energy of a substance known as as the heat. Do you understand? Quickly, let's take the next question. We're giving question Jamb 1995 question 18. The question says the temperature is the measure of temperature is the measure. Option A is the quantity of heat transferred from one molecule of an object. Option B said the mean kinetic energy of a molecule of the object. Option C said the kinetic energy of individual molecules of the object, and you talk about the amount of work done by the molecules. What do you say kinetic? You say it is what? It is the average kinetic energy of any molecule. That's temperature. The average kinetic energy of any molecule, or the degree of hotness or coldness. Now, here now they did not use average. What did they use? They use mean. Mean is same thing as average. So what become the instead of average? They use what? Mean. Mean is same thing as average. So what becomes the answer? Option B becomes the answer, the average or the mean kinetic energy of any molecules or of an object, making option B to become the answer. Do you understand? Please, do you understand the difference between your temperature and what energy? They ask you what is temperature, simply put, degree of hotness or coldness, or tell the person it's the average kinetic energy of a substance. While they ask you what is it, just tell them the total energy of a substance. Do you understand? If you understand that, go through the notes. And you see everything in the LearnLift app. Go to the physics, you go to the notes, study chapters in the LearnLift app, you go to the notes, past question, ensure to join the 350 gang. As you see, tell a friend about the LearnLift app. Ensure you're in the WhatsApp community where we monitor your academic progress, where we motivate you with ginger. You guess what? In the next lesson and lesson 2, we'll now go further to talk about what temperature and thermometer. We'll go deeper. As you see now, that will be our lesson.
This class you just finished watching, of course, is brought to you by what? By the LearnLift app. Oh yes. And within the LearnLift app, you have access to all your classes from the beginning to the end. Everything is well organized for you. Every singular subject, every singular topic followed in line directly with your syllabus and your curriculum. And of course, can I tell you something lovely about the LearnLift app? Oh, this is the sweet part of it. You have access to your Jamb classes within the LearnLift app. You have access to your WAEC, your NECO, your GC classes. You have access to your post-UTME classes. And that's not all. Of course, for your secondary school, you have access to your secondary school classes, whether SS1, SS2, SS3. You have access to your classes directly. And of course, if you're in the university, you have access to your 100 level as well as 200 level classes, all within the LearnLift app. And of course, your 200 level classes are for medical students. All of them are there, well structured and highly organized for you. But please, before you proceed, just head down to your Play Store or your App Store and just type what? LearnLift. Immediately you type LearnLift, of course, the app is going to pop up for you and you download the app and then you start learning immediately. And also very quickly, all you're going to do is that in the description of this video or in the comment section, just open it. You see the link to our WhatsApp channel. Click on it and you are in the WhatsApp channel already, where I'm going to be dropping information every blessed day on a regular basis. And also very important, if you want to reach out to LearnLift, this is LearnLift contact, any of the two, right? Just copy it down and then WhatsApp us, right? Either you send WhatsApp message or you put a call across to us and all of that, and we're going to attend to you immediately. Guess what? I'll see you in the next chapter. For the now, peace out. Bye.